Bettina, good morning. Thank you very much for bringing us all the latest from yesterday. And even this morning, we could see how your efforts actually helped us through the show and how tired you were at the end of the day. Hopefully, you've had some rest. But please, do tell us what the situation is right now, this morning in Edo State, after the votings from yesterday and as the numbers are beginning to come in.
It's business as usual. Everyone is back to their individual responsibilities. We are around Stadium Road right now, and you can see a couple of people making their way to church. So all that is happening is that the people are waiting for when the results will be announced to know who the next governor of Edo State will be.
Now, Bettina, before the elections, 75 people, was it 71%? Of people that were surveyed actually told that they were expecting plenty of violence, and we saw that there was very minimal from yesterday. With the voters that you spoke to yesterday, what were their assessment of the security situation across Edo State?
I would say a lot of voters were quite pleased with the security presence because security has been an issue in Edo State. It's something that a lot of people were also worried about regarding these elections, especially seeing what happened during the primaries. But we are glad that when it comes to casualties or any insecurity, it was to the barest minimal. Instead, what we had were cases of alleged vote buying in some parts of the state. But other than that, I would say that everything regarding the election went very peacefully in Benin, in Edo State.
Mm-hmm. And I also want to ask about the delays as well with INEC and, the arrival of material, that's voting materials, as well as the POs as well. With the turnout that you saw at those polling units, do you think that it had any, besides the rain, do you think it also had any effect when it comes to the turnout of voters, especially in the units that you covered and observed?
In some places, amongst the units that I covered, there were some cases of voters' enthusiasm. In other places, we experienced some voter apathy, where people will tell you that, I've voted all these years, and at the end of the day, my vote never counts. So I'm not bothered about participating in this election this time around. While others are like, we would keep trying. We're not pleased with the government that we have, so we would keep trying, we'll keep pushing, because we want a better Edo State and we want a better Nigeria. So it was a bit of mixed feelings amongst the voters. Regarding the delay, in some polling units, INEC did come late, say 30-40 minutes late. In most parts of polling units in Benin City, at about 8:30, voting had already commenced, and at about 2 p.m., 3 p.m., counting had already commenced, with voting being over. So I would say that in Benin, it was pretty okay.
Okay. I have one very interesting question here. From before the elections, it was noted that 980,000 youths had collected or registered for the elections, and middle-aged people were somewhere around 910,000. That's out of the 2.5 million registered voters. But in your experience, what's the proportion of youth versus middle-aged or older people that actually came out to vote yesterday?
I would say that it was a bit of mixed crowd. Yes, there were some polling units where you see very elderly people, gathered in that area. And then the larger polling units that had 4 to 5 units in a particular ward had, quite a number of youths, quite a number of young people who were there. They stayed there, they cast their votes, they waited for the counting to make sure that there were no hanky-panky in the counting. So, yes, there were a lot of youths. There were also elderly people who are also tired of the situation of the state and the country in general, and also want a change. So they did come out en masse to make sure that, they do their civic responsibility and cast their votes.
Speaking of civic responsibilities and casting votes, I need to ask you about, the turnout for women as well, because I feel like women and PWDs are very, very important. Especially the PWDs, where they're able to carry out their civic responsibility in a manner that is, convenient and conducive to them, in terms of accessibility.
Oh, absolutely. We had quite a number of people living with disability who came to the polling units to also do their civic responsibility. I spoke to quite a number and asking them why they felt the need, to come out of their homes, because one would reason that because they are people with disabilities, they would probably not pay attention to this kind of things. But some of them made me understand that they are also Nigerians. They are also feeling the brunt of what is going on in the country, and they live in Edo State. Some are indigents of Edo State, and they want a better Edo State. So, of course, they came out. Even the rains could not hold them. I saw some people on wheelchairs under the rain trying to cast their votes. But coming into the polling units, what I do respect Nigerians for is the fact that for every elderly person or any person living with disability, they did allow them make it to the front to cast their votes and, go home on time so they could take better care of themselves.
And just to wrap up our line of questioning, for the IREV, we know, which is the INEC results viewing portal, towards the end of the voting exercise yesterday, with the polling units that you observed, did they upload the results onto the IREV? Because I know during the last election cycle from last year, which was the 2023, we saw the results not being posted up and people were going onto the portal, not seeing their results. Was it the same with the polling units? Were they having difficulties with the internet? Because I know the REC made a statement saying that if the IREV doesn't work, if they have internet issues, they will not upload on the IREV.
That I monitored, they didn't have any issues with IREV. What is, however, funny to me is the fact that last night, if I'm not mistaken, IREV was recording about 90-something% of the votes being uploaded, but somewhere around 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning, the numbers dropped to like 80%. So it's a bit confusing monitoring IREV to know what the accuracy of what happened to that 10%, over the night. But we continue to watch as things unfold to find out what exactly the situation is with the results of the Edo State election.
Well, Bettina, you've been sublime. I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for taking out the time this morning. And do you have any information on when the Collation Center will be open for Edo State and, the result calling would start?
Well, allegedly, from the feelers that we are getting, sometime between 11 and 12, hopefully, we should start collation. And hopefully, maybe the results will be announced before the end of today, if not tomorrow. But we are on it, and we'll keep watching.
All right, well, thank you very much then, Bettina. First off, before you go, I'd like you to tell us if there has been any reaction from people regarding the instance that happened this morning involving the governor of Obaseki.
Oh, yeah.
Reactions yet. I don't think the people of Edo State want to really get into that. Now, what we saw at the INEC office, the reactions there, I don't want to call people names, but there are people of a different class, Nigerians of a different class who went there with an agenda. But if you are talking about the indigents of Edo State, they're still going about their daily activities. Nobody really wants to get involved, with any issues regarding the government. So everybody is going about their daily responsibilities. The people who went to the INEC office, to cause that chaos, they know themselves. They know the reason why they went there. I cannot say more than that.
Well, you've said plenty enough. Thank you very much, Bettina. Yeah, thank you. So we'll be expecting more from you as the show progresses. Thank you.